Welcome to another exciting episode of the BD Experience Podcast, your go-to destination for good conversations, heartwarming stories, and expert tips on personal branding and portrait photography. I'm your host, Barbara Delgado, and today we have a very special guest joining us. She's not just a client, she's become a cherished part of our photography journey over the years. And we've been photographing you since the beginning. I want to welcome to our studio owner of A Cantu Bail Bonds, Claudia Cantu Flores, aka the Bail Bond Mom. I feel like it's been, how long has it been?
Gosh, I was just thinking about that. I was like, I've been married 9, so it has to be 10 years because you started with engagement.
Yeah. And we've done not only like family portraits and engagement and all that, but like also part of your business. I've seen your family just grow and evolve.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been an amazing thing to see. I sent you that photo just the other day and I was thinking to myself like, wow, so much has changed. So much has like just, I just feel like we are definitely growing and evolving, and it's beautiful to do it together, right?
Absolutely. I mean, so Barbara sent me where it started, and it was our 2 dogs, myself and my husband. It was our engagement photos where we started. And I was looking at that photo, and it was like where we're at now, right? The recent Christmas picture as a family with my 2 boys. So I was telling my husband, I said, do you remember this? Like, do you remember where we were in this space, where we were in life, like with just 2 dogs, you know, wanting to start a family, just gotten engaged. I mean, I think right before that picture, which must have been at least 2 weeks before, right, we had just gotten engaged, and then we took that picture. So as a, you know, fan of yours, first of all, I'm very, very, very humbled to be a part of the podcast, just to be here and share my experience with you. Thank you. Looking at that photo, it makes me just look back and think, wow, how was it that we had no kids and all of a sudden we have these kids? And you think like, where was I? What was I doing? And how beautiful life has become now, right? How grateful I am to have what I have and evolve and have these 2 beautiful boys, which were a miracle, right? It was difficult to conceive and to have my kids. So it's very moving, but more than anything, as a human, to know the evolution that has happened from that point, me, where I was as a, just a girl, getting married, having my goals, having dreams, and getting engaged, and then to sitting in front of your studio, a different studio, with my 2 children who are now 5 and 8. I mean,
that's insane.
Yeah.
So, no, that's crazy. And I've seen it. You know what I mean? I've seen the progression and the struggle, obviously, and the dedication that you have to your family and to your business and to your husband. And like, obviously, we love Renee. I feel like we haven't talked about it, but I've done.
We started with him.
Yes, I've done some of my favorite photos of him. So it's been just awesome to see. And like, as I was preparing for the podcast, I was like, okay, do we have samples of Claudia and some of the work we've done? And then we had an array of things over the years. So I think
cool. It's so cool. Thanks. And to add to that, Barb, like, I feel like, my mom was always the biggest, supporter of taking pictures. And I'd be like, so she took my engagement pictures and then she did my bridal shower. And I was like, Mom, I don't need just have somebody could take pictures. She's like, no, you have to preserve this time and space. And you'll look back one day and thank me for taking these pictures, because it's different when somebody stands behind with a phone versus somebody that's there just for you, just for that moment. And I was looking at, the engagement pictures and then my bridal shower, and then, Sebby's first Christmas pictures.
Oh my God.
I mean, he was like tiny baby.
In like a little Santa Claus crochet, right?
Yeah,
like
little,
a little
like, diaper
cover. I love that.
It's so cute. And, it's so funny is that green shirt that from that picture, I still have that green silk shirt from that Christmas picture, because for me, it was like holding that memory. Like I couldn't let go of that because it was my first son who I prayed for, and that picture, and it was like so special. So I still even have that with the picture. So I'm like, my husband's like, so what are you going to do with that? Like, I'm like, he's like, you have two boys. I'm like, I don't know, maybe one day my daughter-in-law will wear this like green silk shirt that I wore for the picture. I don't know. But that's what your pictures do. And I think I can speak for a lot of people, is that it helps you preserve that time and that space and the memory, because your kids grow up so fast. I mean, we are growing up.
Yeah.
You know, we're evolving.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what, you know, I mean, forget about what you look like. For me, it's a glamorous picture in time. But for me, when I look at the pictures, your pictures truly hold a lot more than the visual. It holds a feeling. And that's been my favorite part, and why I always come to Barbara, because it's like, it's that feeling that comes with the picture, and you have such a good eye in capturing those moments to where we can look back and like, you know, it gives me goosebumps because I look back at my pictures that you've taken, even like Santi, my 5-year-old's, like his, like, I think it was like his 2 or 3-year-old pictures. I'm like, his little feet. You know, I mean, you made sure you captured his like little toes and like just little things. And it's that keeps us like, you know, looking back at those times and helps us treasure them even more, you know? So thank you.
Oh my God. No, you're welcome. I have to thank you because I feel like it means a lot, right? I feel like as a photographer and as somebody who is out here, you know, wanting to have people feel that. For you to choose to come back is just, it's everything to me. And it means the world to me. And honestly, like, I love not only that we do your family, but like that we've done your headshots. That I mean, you are out there, you are doing so much for the community. And I feel like just the monitor, right?
Yeah.
You were just...
Yeah, chosen for the second time we won the Monitor's Choice Awards as favorite bail bonds. So that's reeled
huge.
me in to get new headshots. Yes. So it's like, hey, Barb, like, I'm sorry. I hate to be last minute, but they need this in like, you know, a few weeks.
But that's huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's so big, and
it, you know, and thank you for that. I truly feel like, yes, it's an award and it's acknowledgement, but it reminds me of the 2 people that started the business and the legacy that I get to carry. So I think that's what holds more value for me, is that this is in honor of my 2 parents who I've lost since. And that award for me is so much more than like, oh, it's an award on the wall and the recognition. It's more of like, wow, Mom and Dad, this is something that you started as mom and pop, you know, and then I was able to like carry on and have people acknowledge me, but me through
what
2
they
people.
started.
Yeah, what they started and what they preach, and, you know, try to do that and what they taught me. You know, never did I think that that's what I was going to be doing. You know, I tell people all the time, I'm like, I have a biology degree. This is not what I thought I was going to be doing. But God, I feel, always has a way to keep you and show you and what is your purpose.
Yeah, where you need to be.
Yeah, and in fulfilling that purpose, you start to think, am I doing that? And when you question, you know, yourself more of what the meaning for life is to you, you go back and you're like, I want to share that, you know. And so in me starting the branding, which I was so hesitant. First of all, Barb, I was always here with my husband, like, you know, fixing
doing
his hair,
doing his branding.
You were
pushing, his like behind the scenes,
behind the scenes,
yeah,
everything. And I was like, Barb's like, you've got to do it. You've got to do this. And I'm like, yeah, you know. When I finally was able to get to that space where I was open to doing it, because I wasn't too sure like how far I was going to take it, right? I was just like, I can just advertise, like. But when I was starting that, you know, it was so important to have headshots. So when it was my turn to have like the branding session, I was like so nervous. I was like, how I had like an idea, but I didn't know. And you did such an amazing job, because I was like, how do I like recreate this again the second time? I mean, like, look at that. Like, you made me look like a freaking badass. I don't know if I can say that, but like,
I have
like,
to say that
was so
you
cool.
are a badass. You are a badass, so it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, everybody comes in here and literally points to that photo and it's like, can we do something like that?
That is so
Can we do
funny.
something like that?
That
They all,
is
and I'm like,
so funny.
I try to get everybody to do something different to get, you know what I mean? Like, we could do your own thing. Like, let's try to do something different. But every single time they come in here, they're like, can we do something like that? And
It's
I'm like,
so crazy, because it was so like, I was nervous, and you were like, you've got this. And my husband, it was his turn, right, to be behind the scenes. And he's like, just, and I'm like, oh my God, this is really hard to be on this side of the camera. But you made it such a great experience. And I think that every person that comes has those jitters, right? Has that feeling. And then when you show them your product, it's like, who is that person? And you help us come to terms with, we can do this. Like, we can put ourselves out there, because look at how awesome this can be. And if this can be this awesome, I can show up to that level, right? And so I think that is the biggest motivation that I can share, right, with helping and sharing that this is the most important thing that you could do for your brand. Like I said, I think in a post a couple of weeks back, that the reality is we're not glammed up all day, and we're not, every day.
Yeah.
But your branding should be, right? Your pictures should be, because that represents
that's really powerful.
Who you are. And for me, the legacy that I get to carry, like, that's why it's so important, because I want that image to be left and inspired others, because I truly care. I truly want.
Yeah, and I think image is what people actually like. That's the first thing people see, and that's the first impression that anybody can make of you is your image. So I think that is one of the most important things that you, as anybody, as a business owner, needs to invest in is their image, whether that be photos or whether that be graphics, whether that be video or whatever it may be. I think investing in your image is the number one thing that you can do as a business. Yeah,
it's key. It's key, and I think it truly helped me keep going and do more, because I mean, when you have like these awesome pictures, right, that you're able to produce, Barb, I don't know. I tell you every time, I'm like, I don't know how we're going to top last year. I don't know how. And then all of a sudden I'm like, is that me? Is that my family? Like,
I have to say that this photo,
insane.
I kind of want to grab it, but that photo is just like everything. It's literally breathtaking, and I'm not just saying that to
that is so sweet. Yeah. And but that, like, my 8-year-old now, Sebi, just naturally leaned up on me at that time. Like, it wasn't staged. Like, it was like...
it's never staged.
Yeah.
It's impossible to stage children. You know what I mean? Like, you have to really, like, get in that moment and make sure the kids are, you know what I mean? Because photographing kids is not, they can't fake it. They can't pretend to be having a great time. It's you have to create that moment. And I think that was just like a split second.
Yeah. And you were like, this is it. And I'm like,
I was like, we're done. We're
done.
Yeah,
we're done. We got it. I mean, it's insane, because, I mean, my husband, who was also told that he could never have kids, right? And again, I go back to that because that's what that picture holds. Like, yes, it's an amazing picture, but for me, it's like the gratitude that it brings to be so grateful to God for giving me this life, giving me this, family, and giving me the opportunity to share just what I believe, right? Share what was instilled in me by my mom, and share that. And that's where your pictures help bring that out,
and keep that and make sure that you're able to see it and display it and show it and see it every day and relive that experience. And it's really awesome. And I'm sure the kids love seen themselves like,
they've gotten used. They're like, oh, we're going to Barbara. How long did it take? Like Sebby's 8, Santi's 5. I mean, Santi's always been really good about pictures. Sebby's more like, I gotta like, there's a lollipop, there's pizza after this, there's like, there's always like some bribing. All moms know that. There's always some bribing there's involved. But they are so used to you. I still remember like you like doing like achoo, like with them or being little.
Achoo, yes. I still do the achoo, not as much anymore because back then, my head.
We're a lot more limber.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, my back and my neck.
It's so funny. But now you have like a great like sense of like, what you're doing, that it's amazing. And I'm so grateful that I get to share that where I started with you in the evolution, because I didn't really think about it until you asked me. I was like, wow, how amazing that I get to have shared that experience with you as you've grown, and how the exchange that has happened, that you've helped me grow, and my business, and now in the branding and what you get to do. And it's so cool when you look at life that way, and when you share the gratitude.
Yeah, and the growth. And I think it takes, like, I'm glad that you said that, because to me, I feel like, obviously, I didn't do this alone. I have
a great
people
team.
like you. No, and yes, my team, obviously, but people like you that support me, you know what I mean? Because without people that come to me and support me, I don't have anything. So I think that in itself is how I'm grateful to you. And it just is beautiful because we've mutually, watched, like I said at the beginning, we've watched each other evolve, watched each other grow. That very first photo was just like, wow. And now I'm like, wow.
I know. And I feel like everybody who like shares like, oh, I went to Barbara. I ran into somebody at Carla's, like, I think it was like last year. She's like, I saw your picture. I didn't even know her. She's like, you're the one in that picture in the black dress when we did the first formal Christmas.
For Christmas.
Yeah, she said, and I asked to recreate that picture with my 2 boys because she had 2 older boys. And she showed me her picture with 2 older boys. It was so surreal because I was like, that will be me one day with my kids older. And I said, she goes, it just inspired me to like dress up and to come. And I said, oh my God. Like
I had, just to let you know, with that first photo is when you're wearing that black dress, I had somebody from San Antonio, a lady called me from San Antonio who came from San Antonio because she saw your photo on Facebook and wanted that.
Crazy.
Like, I feel like you've been an inspiration to a lot of people.
So crazy.
So, which is awesome.
Wow,
you know? Like, that's amazing.
And who doesn't want that one picture in their home that is like, this is like such a special time. And I think that was during COVID. And
because we had just moved into the studio, and we moved in here in 2020. Maybe like right after it was super bad and people were starting to come out.
You're
like,
right.
Yeah,
you're right.
I was wearing a mask during that shoot.
I remember.
But it was beautiful, and it was so fast, and it was just like, okay, we got him, and it was beautiful.
It was so nice. It was so nice. And that's what I feel like when people share. Like I saw, and I'm like, oh, that makes me so happy because at the end of the day, we, business owners, we all know, we know our struggles. Like it is not like what people think. Like we actually work so hard to have everything. And that when somebody compliments your business or, that's like the best form.
Yeah, that's the best feeling.
The best form of advertisement. It's the best feeling. It's the best sense of like gratitude. Like I know like I'm living my purpose if somebody can do that for me, right? And I can do that for somebody, then life is awesome.
Yeah.
Truly
is.
is.
I love your philosophy. Every time we sit down and talk, I'm just like listening to you,
so
and you're,
sweet.
You talk about being like, I know that you practice gratitude, which is so important, and that you're on a spiritual journey, which is also so beautiful. And so I know that these photographs mean more to you than just photos, and it is a legacy, and it is something that you pass down, and it is something that you can take, and it's something a lot of people don't value. And I know that you do, and I feel like that's amazing. And I can't, again, I feel like I've said this enough, I can't thank you enough.
That is, and honestly, Barb, I feel like you have so many people out there that love your work, and that rave about you. And like, and I tell people, I'm like, this is an experience. So when you had like the BD experience, I was like, yes, it's an experience. Like, it's not like just a picture.
I have to tell you that part of our process, Renee's the one that told me, like, you need music. Like, music is so important. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was one of his sessions back at the Hackberry location.
Yeah.
And he was like, and you need to ask your clients, like, what music do they want to listen to? But to this day, that is what we do, and I feel like it makes a huge difference. So Renee was the one, and I get little bits and pieces, and I'm grateful because I feel like you guys are the type of people that will tell you, like, hey, this would be better, and this would make, and that's how people improve, and that's how you can get better, by having feedback and positive feedback and
constructive criticism. That's
the word.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I have to tell him that.
I don't know that he knows that, but we do. That's like literally part of our process, and one of the most important things that we do. And it was from Renee's,
because music carries a vibration. I tell people this, sometimes even with like my social media, it's like, it's about the song, but music carries a vibration, and your body is, what is it, like 80% water or 70% water, and that carries your mood, it carries your spirit, it carries your mental clarity sometimes. And so that when you're in there and you're in that, whatever music you listen to or you vibe to, it helps you really come to that space here and like just let you do the magic, right?
Yeah.
You're the person
get out of your head.
Yeah.
You get out of your head when you're listening to songs and music that you love, and then you're able to just relax, because taking photos it's not that easy for people.
Exactly.
People get super nervous. I know. They get angry sometimes. I'm like, so we have tequila.
I know. Yeah, rosé.
So I have a question for you. How do you envision your future, like, with BD, I guess? Like, what do you see in the future? Like, is there something? I mean, obviously we have our holiday photos coming up.
Oh yeah, I know. I love it. That is like my favorite photo. So that and the Mother's Day pictures are always my favorite. But how do I envision? Gosh, that's a good question. I think honestly, Barb, like, I feel that you have set such an awesome tone for photography, for what you do, that I just trust you. Like, I fully trust you. And I think when somebody trusts, their partner, the photographer, their co-workers,
their bail bonds.
Yeah, your bail bonds. You just let them do their job, and it's just a great product, right? Yeah. And so what I envision, is, greatness, because and not to like put you on the spot or like put pressure on you, right? But like, I feel like you have just a keen eye for what that family needs, or what that, to bring something, like that one family that approached me, it's like, she's like, I just wanted that one picture. And I feel like that's what you do. And so if I could answer that question in one sentence, I just would think that I would envision us growing older with grace, and envision us reflecting and thinking, like, this was last year. Like, how grateful are we to have each other still healthy and do what we do and do what we love, and together, and we have a picture here to preserve that moment. And so that, I think, in itself is what I would envision for our future, right? Branding and, husband and kids. And people are like, it goes by so fast. And, just wait, one day you're going to be walking down, or your son's going to be walking down the aisle. I'm like, well, hold on.
Yeah, it does go by super fast. The thought that Sebi's 9?
8. 8.
Yeah,
8. Okay. Yeah, he's 8 and Santi's 5.
5.
Yeah.
So Sebi is 8. That's crazy.
Yeah.
In a blink of an eye, he'll be 18. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And then taking graduation. Yeah. My God. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So that's what I envision us growing and evolving and having these amazing photos, and, like being very appreciative that we have that to capture.
I have to tell you, this whole time you've been talking, I'm like, okay, just accept it, just because it's really hard for me to accept compliments, right?
Really?
And it's just like I'm taking it all in.
Aww.
And everything you've said has been super, super nice. So I thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I think that I feel like that's honestly all we can say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And that to, you know, share with people that who are contemplating, like, oh, should I do this for my business? Or, you know, the branding, like, I'm going to be the first advocate for like your branding, because it is so worth the time, the money, the, you know, nervousness on getting outfits. But now you have like an amazing way to set up like help with like all of that, which is like awesome, because that for women I think is like stressful, right? Like, what do I wear?
Yeah,
and so that I'm like, oh, when I saw you doing that, I said, that's awesome, because that for those that are not fashion savvy or whatnot, you help with that. And so when somebody approached me about like headshots, I said, yes, you can go, you know, and take a headshot, but you want the brand, right? Like, you want that to depict the, you know,
your brand, who
brand,
you are,
right?
what you stand for. Yeah.
And so that in itself is like worth everything that you've put into your business. Like that's always going to back it up, right? Like, so whatever product you service or whatever you do, like your image will back it up, and you're going to have an awesome image because of what you invested. So it's the best investment.
Yeah,
best investment.
And it is a good return on your investment,
Yeah.
right? I feel like the second that somebody puts out a really good photo, and I'm not just talking about like my photos, just in general, like a nice image, it's kind of like, okay, they are in it for real. They are taking themselves seriously. They, you know, they care about their image, and that just says so much. I 1000% agree. I think a lot of people,
don't maybe put that much thought into it, or it's just like, I'm just gonna take a headshot real quick and
with my cell phone,
or something, you know. But also before, I just also want to thank you for it's like totally left field, but I was like, I'm not gonna leave until I say thank you for recreating a picture with my mom for Mother's Day. And I'll never forget that, because for people that have lost their parents, it's different. Life is different. And I remember that Mother's Day, I said, all I want is a picture with what would have been a family picture with my kids and my mom. And I reached out to Barbara, and I was like, Barbara, like, I don't know, I'll try. I'll make it happen. I was like, oh my God. And when you made that picture, that still is one of my favorite pictures. And I mean, all of this stuff is great, right? Because it's my family, it's reality, but that picture that I have, like with my mom, like up on my office, that is a representation of what my business is, and who I am because of her, and that you were able to make that happen. I'm forever ever grateful for you. And so I didn't want to leave without making sure that you knew that was like my best photo, my favorite photo, and the best thing that you could have ever given me. And when I, you know, share, people walk into my office, right? Because my clients walk into my office, and, you know, and there's some that are open to the, you know, where'd you come from? And you know, and I say, I get to point at something,
that's
and that's my mom. You know,
that's
so
a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful photo. And when I was doing it, honestly, I was emotional because I took that photo of your mom.
Yes.
That I put,
okay. So
yeah. So it was kind of like,
you took
it was
that photo at the bridal
from
shower.
your bridal shower.
Yes.
Oh, and it was like the one photo that we had of your mom that I could kind of like Photoshop into the photo of you with the kids, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was really, really beautiful.
Thank you for everything.
You're so welcome. And I think that is all the time we have for today. Thank you, Claudia, so much for being here. I really, really appreciate you, and I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for joining us. I love having this conversation with Claudia, and it's been an amazing, amazing day, and we hope to see you guys soon.